Hello, fellow traders. Nutty Bar coming to you on a Sunday night. And over the past couple of weeks or since we have been trading our funded accounts, I've been thinking about my ATM strategy, and I feel like it's not working. So it has caused me to do a deep dive into ATM strategy and kind of just basically look at it again and just revisit. It feels, and the reason for that is my ATM strategy currently is I enter with two contracts, two micro contracts, and my stop loss is around 8 to 10 ticks, and my take profit is around 8 to 10 ticks as well. And currently, as soon as I hit 8 to 10 ticks profit, I take one contract off and I move my other contract up to break even plus one or two. And basically trying to get a runner going and just to get a runner is the reason for doing that. But I have just not seen that come to fruition. Maybe I'm just not patient enough. It could be me. I know a lot of people do that strategy that works, so it's definitely not saying that it doesn't work, but for me, it hasn't worked for multiple different reasons that I'm not going to get too into. But basically, I'm just reconsidering of, hey, why don't I just take all of my profit when I reach 8 to 10 ticks? Why not just do that? And so anyway, I kind of did a deep dive in this, and I love math. So anyway, we went into the probabilities and risk to reward ratio. This is not really an R multiple. I guess it is a little bit, but I'm more interested in what got me to thinking is I reviewed my trades. I have approximately a 65% win percentage. And I thought, okay, if I have a 65% win percentage and my average profit, average loss, basically looking at that, what is my, I've been looking and thinking of increasing my size on my micro contracts. With two contracts, I am glad that we started off with two micro contracts just to keep it small, start in slow. But I feel like we've been spinning our wheels. We've been following, obviously I made some errors that was nothing related to the ATM strategy. I messed up a couple times, didn't follow my rules, had some big loss. But basically on the account for summary is we're about $400 down on each of my 19 funded accounts. If you're new, basically I started this journey getting 19 or 20 Apex accounts funded. We're at that goal, and we're now trading those accounts and trying to get to a payout. So if you enjoy that, like, subscribe. Also, really appreciate everyone's support so far. It's been awesome. But basically, that's kind of the road I was going down. And I just thought I'm going to make a quick video of kind of showing what I discovered, because it was really intriguing to me, and I found it very interesting, and it helped my perspective as well. So I just thought I'd share it, and maybe it'll help you as well. If it does, great. If not, whatever. It is what it is. Okay, so we're just going to start here. We're going to quickly go through what this spreadsheet means. I just threw this spreadsheet together about 5 minutes ago, so don't read much into it, I guess. It's not anything fancy. But basically here is our target price, which would be 8 ticks. Obviously, we're talking about the micros on ES. That's what I'm referring here. Now, obviously, you can change this to any symbol that you trade. Our stop is, I have it at 12 ticks. And no, 10 ticks. Sorry, this is at 8 ticks profit, and this is at a 10 tick loss. Okay, and the number of contracts trading. So I put this in for eight for now. We'll change that a little bit as we go, and you can see the difference and kind of what I'm looking at. Because my main concern is, okay, what are the statistical chances of my biggest drawdown? Like if I have a 65% win chance or win percentage, which means I have a 35% loss percentage, what are the chances that I'll have a 12 losing streaks in a row, or 10, or whatever that is? What are those chances? So that's kind of the road I went down, and yeah, we'll show you more in a little bit on that. And then I did also put in commissions here because it does make a big difference, as you'll see. If we're trading 8 contracts, the commissions do add up and they do make a difference. So I do want to have those included. So if we hit our target price, we would have $80 in profit. Now, I will say our commissions, that is minus commissions, our commissions are figured in down here for our total profit and loss. So it is figured in, but not in this cell. Again, I just created this a couple minutes ago. Our stop, if our stop gets hit, we have $100 loss. And I just put in for now that we would have 5 trades per day. That is important. We can change that, but on average, that's kind of what I'm averaging now. And we have a 65% win percentage, which means we have a 35% loss. I know there's some break evens, but we're just going to, for sake of argument, we're going to use these numbers. So our average win per day would be, the $80 times the 65% is the $260. Well, $80 times 65% times the 5 would be 260. And then same with the loss. Our average loss per day would be 175, which would mean, and then on average, if we do 5 round trip trades per day of 8 contracts, we'd have $40 in commissions, which would mean we would be left over with $44 in profit. So this is kind of concerning. Like, we almost have as much in commissions as we do have in profit, but for sake of argument, that's how I'm figuring it. And then our profit goal. This is based on, this is my personal profit goal for all of my accounts. Currently, we're about $400 in the red, and I'd like to get my account balances to 3,600-ish range before I make my first withdrawal, just so I have a little more cushion. So that's the reason for that number. So based on these numbers and $44 profit per day, it would take us 90 days to reach that profit goal. Hopefully you're still with me. Hopefully I'm making sense. Okay. So now this is where we will bring in this next spreadsheet. So the number to remember here is 452 trades. That means it would take 452 trades in order to reach this profit goal based on these metrics. So now we're going to go to this sheet, and full disclosure, I did not create this sheet. I downloaded it. I will include a link. Full credit to whoever created this. You can see whoever created it once I do the link there. They have a lot of links and stuff to click on that I'm not going to show here. I'm not going to advertise on this channel. I'm not in agreement with what they're advertising, but their sheet and their spreadsheet and what they're doing here is pretty awesome. So I'll share it just in case someone else wants to use it. So we have, this is where we put in the number of trades. We will put in 452. Okay, now remember, maybe you can't see this. This is pretty small. But right here is 35%. This is what your loss percentage is, which is very important. So what we're looking for is basically, so if we go down the row here, let's just do that. So there's a 100% chance that we will incur 2 losses in a row. Obviously, makes sense. There's also a 100% chance that we will incur a 3 losing streak in those 452 trades, okay? There's a 98.9% chance that we will incur 4 losses in a row somewhere in these 452 trades. There's a 79% chance that we're going to have 5 losses in a row. And that really helped me mentally, knowing those numbers, because for some, I don't know why, it helps me to stay grounded. If I'm going through 5 losses in a row, it's very easy to start doubting yourself doubting your strategy, but this really helped me just to understand this is totally normal and expected. So no need to freak out, no need to change your strategy. It's just part of the plan. So anyway, that, I don't know why, but that really mentally just kind of clicked for me. 6 losses in a row. There's a 41.6% chance that we'll incur 6 losses in a row. Okay, still a very good chance. Like, I would consider that a very good chance of happening. There's a 17% chance that we will have 7 losing streaks in a row. Okay, and there's a 6.3% chance that we have 8 losses in a row. Now, the number I'm looking for is I want to get to a number below 5%, which is the 9 losses in a row. There's only a 2.25% chance that we will have 9 losses in a row. And that, to me, is what I've wanted to get to, because I want to know what my max drawdown is. Like, in this all, that is what is really important to me. Obviously, with any funded program, your drawdown is very important. So I don't want to have a strategy or an ATM or have my risk where there's a 50% chance that I'm going to reach max drawdown. Obviously, that would be not smart, in my opinion. Okay, so let's change this, and then I'll explain what this section does. I need water. Excuse me. Okay, so this section now is calculating, okay, we have 9 losing streak. There's a 2.25% chance of that happening. Now, what this is doing, this section here is saying, okay, what are the chances that you'll have more than one of those streaks in these number of trades? Right now it's 0.02%. So I would consider that very, very small. Okay, so I'm not really worried about having 2 or more of those streaks in my 452 trades. Okay, that's also very important, because let's just, for example, let's take 7 losses in a row. So if we change this to 7, you can see there's a 17% chance that we will incur 7 losses in a row. Now, some might look at that and say, well, that's not really high. I'm okay with that. And you have to make that assessment on your own of whatever your risk tolerance is. Obviously, for me, 17% is still too high. I want to have mine be below 5%, but that's just my own personal preference. You can do whatever you want. But I would still consider that a possibility. I would consider it a medium possibility. So that's what that is. So we just, for the sake of argument, we are looking at a 9 losing streak in a row. That's what we are using to figure out what our max drawdown is if we do this. Okay, so hopefully this made sense. Again, I'll put a link in the description if you want to download this and play with it yourself. Put in your own numbers. That's fine. Okay, back to this sheet. So now you can see, actually, I need to change this number to 2.25%. This is just, I just manually put it in. They have this sheet is locked. Now, obviously, you could unlock it. I just didn't want to mess with it. So, whatever, teach their own. But that would mean our max drawdown expectancy would be $973. And that basically is taking those 9 losses and, figuring out 9 losses, we can figure that out here. It's basically taking 9 times 100 is 900 plus our commissions. So hopefully that makes sense. Excuse me. Okay, so anyway, hopefully that makes sense, because let's just, for the time being, I'm only trading 2 micro contracts at a time. And what really opened my eyes, and I wasn't planning on trading 2 micro contracts for the duration of these funded accounts. It was kind of to get started, and honestly, I'm really glad that I did, just because of we've started out rough, and I haven't been trading well. Now, the last couple days have been better, and we've seen improvements, so hopefully this next week that'll continue. But there was a reason I wanted to start really small. But in this, like, this really kind of opened my eyes to, yeah, this is not sustainable. Like, this is not, I was basically trading 2 contracts, and I was trying to make way too much money that was realistic for my win percentage or for just the amount of trades I was taking. So you can see here, if I just continue to trade 2 micro contracts with this stop loss parameters, with this win percentage parameters, you can take, it would take me 362 days to get to my profit goal. That's well over a year. Now, I've said repeatedly that this is a marathon, not a sprint, but I'm not doing that kind of marathon. But you can obviously see our max drawdown would just be $244. But let's look at it a little bit deeper. If we would have to take 1,810 trades, okay? So let's put this to 1,810. And this as well. And you can see now, to get to under 10 trades, like, the probability that we will have a larger losing streak obviously goes up. Like, now the 10 losses would be the first one that's underneath the 5%. So obviously it just kind of opened my eyes to, okay, we need to change something. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting to in this whole video, is I need to change something on my ATM strategy and my size for this to be a realistic goal. And I knew, like I said, I wanted to start out slow and just to get my feet wet. Obviously, unfortunately, I personally made mistakes on the funded accounts. I just had some brain lapses, and mentally, psychologically, didn't honor my stop loss. If you want to know more, you can look back at my summary reports. Again, we have full transparency on this channel, and you will see the good, bad, and ugly. But hopefully this made sense. And I think we'll start to size up possibly this week, and we're going to look at implementing a different ATM strategy and changing our size a little bit, just so that we can be more realistic on just based off of this. So obviously there's a lot of things in here that doesn't take into account, and it's not 100% fireproof that this is, guaranteed to work, anything like that. So basically I was just curious about the mathematical probabilities. I really enjoy math, and this really made a lot of sense to me and really helped me process in my mind what I can expect. So if I missed something, maybe I completely looked something over, or one of my calculations looks off, comment below, let me know. Let me know what you think. I would appreciate it. So take care.